Waiting, waiting. I see us. I'm waiting for, okay, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and we're waiting for YouTube. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. Come on, YouTube. Darryl, YouTube is in. Okay, I'm going to count us down. Darryl, count with me for backwards from 10. Let's go, and then we'll play the music. One. Oh, wait, sorry. 10. You ready?
Yeah,
10,
10,
9,
9, 8,
8, 7,
7,
6,
6,
5,
5, 4,
4, 3,
3,
2.
2,
Here we go.
1.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Okay, you got to dance with me.
So you wanna be
So you want to be a cool kid. I wrote the lyrics, and my friend Serge in Paris wrote the music, and he sings it for me.
Oh, nice.
Called So You Wanna Be. Casting your net. Here's the drum roll. My sticks are in the other room. Bop, bop, bop. Thank you very much, sir. I am Bonnie D. Happy to be here on We Dish. T-O-O, Saucy Dame, that's me. And Darryl K. Keeton, Keeton, is my special guest today. I met Darryl about a month ago on my Technology Revolution show. He's an interesting tech guy. He's an innovator, an instigator. He's an initiator, an innovator. And I said, hey, you got to be, Darryl, I hope you're not upset, but you are my cool dude number 39. You're not angry with me for waiting that long, are you?
No, maybe I would have chosen an even number, but 39 will do.
I could switch them. It's okay. Nobody's watching. Darryl, I'm going to do my opening, and then I would like you to tell us a little more, and I want to hear all about what you do. But let me start with I have a rhyming intro here, and why don't we wave hello to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube? Hi, everybody. It's Bonnie D and Darryl K. There we go. Okay, you see his name on the back, behind him and behind me. Okay, you may know us well, Bonnie D and Darryl K. too. Seasoned in life, we love what we do. From social channels, virtual embrace, I'm giving us a big social hug here. We love sharing insights in this special space. Now, here on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way. Welcoming Darryl K., a truly cool dude. Here's my rhyming intro. He'll add more with attitude. The story of Darryl K. on a leadership quest. Bonnie D. welcomes Darryl, who's always giving his best. Here we go. Darryl K. was born in Denver in the mountain air to parents whose guidance showed they care. In a home of high standards where effort reigns supreme, Darryl learned that excellence comes from pursuing a dream. On soccer, how am I doing so far? Pretty good?
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay. On soccer fields, I'm waiting for you to smile. On soccer fields and wrestling mats, Darryl proved his mettle tight, testing strength and spirit in every youthful flight. With twin brothers Dwayne and Derek close at hand, their friendly rivalry honed a will both strong and grand. At 12, Darryl donned the stripes to referee the game, then umpired baseball diamonds, earning early fame. Through patience and through fairness, he sharpened his own ways, discovering leadership skills in those early formative days. In high school halls, Darryl served at Schlotsky's Deli Line and hosted volleys at the aisle with energy divine. Balancing work and passion, he built a steadfast creed that dedication blossoms when heart and hustle lead. Each summer brought road trips through America's broad expanse, from historic sites to theme park thrills in a magical stance. Collecting memories of wonder in every town's embrace, Darrell's family bonds grew stronger with each new time and each new place. Then his career took flight at Deloitte's storied corporate gate, protecting fortune champions from risks of cyber fate. For 5 full years, Darrell guided firms through storms of threat and code, proving that solid leadership can lighten any load. At BDBS, he scaled growth strategies tenfold and more. From modest streams to river runs, Darrell opened every door. Crafting vision-driven plans that drove businesses high, Darrell's insight turned bold ambition into wings that could fly. Now at Sensigrate, he fuses sensors, data, and design. Smart City 12V networks where safety and smoothness align. From Arizona's sunlit roads to California's busy streets, Darrell's platform steers both cars and souls to safer, smarter beats. and a chef of I'm not done yet. And a chef of daring recipes and a skier on black diamond trails, Darryl volunteers in STEM labs where innovative curiosity prevails. In boardrooms and nonprofit halls, his passion lights the way. Balancing work with play, Darryl thrives each unfolding day. Rooted in the Rockies with a vision soaring high, Darryl K drives our future where smart and human tie. As founder, guide, and mentor, his insights set the pace. We welcome Darryl K to our special Cool Dude conversation space. What'd you think?
Very well done. I'm gonna need a copy of that.
I will send you the clip. It's my reading is the clip you get. We don't give out the text
Okay,
because
that's right.
you know. So let me finish now. We're here on We Dish, chatting on life score, culture, music, food, and oh, so much more. Join us live right now, or we have a viewer. Somebody is watching us. Hello. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here. That's why they invented on demand. And enjoy our dishing with shared delight. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know. We dish two saucy dame and cool dude too, Bonnie D and Darryl K, dishing on life's fun. Pour vous. That's French for you. So officially welcome, Darryl. How did I do? You want to give me a grade on that?
A plus plus
Ah,
plus.
you're sweet. Did I cover all of the high points of your life?
Yeah, and it's thanks for highlighting my parents and my family. So that's key core to who I am today.
I got that. And I just want to tell my viewers and listeners that I do ask my guests to send me not just a bio or a media pitch, to send me their origin story. And I ask for early beginnings and family. Not everybody's comfortable saying that, but you were kind enough to tell me a little bit about your family, and that's how I wanted to start your story. So let's talk for a few minutes before we get into music and food and all that stuff. Centigrade, what is it? When did you start it? What exactly? I described a little, but I have no clue what it does. So tell us more. Go ahead, Darryl.
Sure. So SensaGreat is a computer vision AI platform. Our product's called SensaVision. So we focus on optimizing traffic and roadway safety. We do that by using cameras, LiDAR, and radar that are on traffic control signal poles, streetlight poles, or other infrastructure to do object detection. So we use AI to identify cars, trucks, semi-trucks, vans, also pedestrians, cyclists, and e-scooters. We're analyzing traffic flow, but also safety. So from a safety perspective, we're looking at near misses, the frequency of potential collisions. Typically, cities will wait over 5 years to do a report and analyze a safety study of an intersection. We really look at it from a proactive standpoint of what's happening that can lead to a injury or fatality incident, and putting in actions to mitigate those collisions. So one of those actions are, how do you leverage engineers to redesign the intersection, or in the future, what's coming is what's called vehicle to everything communication, sending out safety message alerts to incoming cars, pedestrians, cyclists, to warn them of a potential threat or collision to hopefully prevent that from happening.
You sound totally brilliant to me. Do you sleep? How, what in your background? I read about your work in sports and at the deli and your values from your family and the jobs you've had working at Deloitte. I did some radio series for Deloitte as well years ago, but nothing like what you did. Where did this come from? Where did this idea? What was the I'll call it the muse, Darryl, the inspiration that something that said, Darryl, you are meant for something really, really important. You have to start your own company and you have to invent something. What time of day or night? Where did that come from? Come on, tell me.
So yeah, my career started in corporate America. Started at Deloitte, had a year at American Express, and I realized that after American Express, cubicle life was not for me. So I went back into consulting, was helping small businesses. A handful of those businesses were in Colorado doing engineering service firms. So I saw a project involving CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation, Ford and Panasonic's kind of smart city branch, where they were doing a 90-mile, $40 million project of connected vehicle infrastructure. Then being in Arizona at the time, seeing the testing and development of autonomous vehicles. So with my IT risk management background, I kind of knew there was a gap where these robots are great, but will they be able to do everything? Kind of seeing the incident that happened in Uber in Tempe, Arizona, where they hit and killed a lady crossing the street beyond the intersection. And so we really saw the opportunity of, the infrastructure is going to help play a role, but how does this, facilitate that? So leveraging my risk background, consulting small businesses, helping them grow between 1 and 2 million plus. I really wanted to challenge myself to say, hey, what can I create and add value to our communities? And then also my brothers, one's a firefighter, one's a police officer. So they were already in the community helping save lives. And being the bigger brother, I couldn't let them one me up. So I wanted to create a tech company that, jokingly, I say that, but created a tech company that can help save lives in a different manner.
Now that's a different kind of inspiration than I usually hear. The community part I hear and having the IT background and all that, but having a family, can I use the word in the trenches of doing that kind of work or helping when there is a problem or a challenge or a crisis or a disaster. That was part of your inspiration. Very interesting. Can I ask what kind of technology is this all AI? You don't have to give me, I don't need anything proprietary, but what do you, I have a tech background. I'm an early woman in tech and I was coding in COBOL and PL1 on Xerox Sigma 6 CP5s and IBM 4341s. And then I went over to the easy stuff, the Mac and the mouse and all of that good stuff. So what is the core, shall we say, what is the core coding type that you use? Is it AI? What languages do you use?
Sure, from a full tech stack, we're using hardware. So starting with cameras, those are either existing by our customers. So we pull in the live stream, video stream in and process that on a virtual machine or server. And then we also leverage LiDAR or radar. That has to be deployed. Most cities may not have that kind of sensor. And if they need the camera, we'll also install it. But there, the sensors are connected to an IoT edge device. So we use NVIDIA Jetson devices or high-end computing GPUs that are able to take in millions of data points at a time and give you outputs. So there we have embedded our deep learning models that we use to process the visual sensors. So basically we take, from an AI perspective, we take a frame, we'll keep it simple from a camera, and
Hmm.
we train models to identify objects, and we're really focusing on not every object that you would see in a road or passing by in a road, but
Hmm.
really the vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, e-scooters, and even motorcycles. We really want to understand where they're at, their direction, their speed, and then we look at variables, as I mentioned, like near misses. So it's AI based, and then all that data
Hmm.
is processed. We output into like a JSON file. That data is sent in real time to the cloud, where we provide alerts and visualizations through a web app for our customers to engage with that data and provide actionable insights of what we're seeing. So we're not just getting the data and analytics, we're actually giving information to help them make informed decisions or to decide how to make changes to optimize the traffic signal or how to redesign an intersection to reduce fatalities or incidents from happening.
I'm impressed. Very thoroughly impressed. Again, do you sleep?
So on the weekends is my
Okay.
catch-up time,
Yeah.
but sometimes on the weekday I can be up till like past midnight. And then we started getting some international opportunities or partners international, so
Really?
sometimes you have to be up around their schedule.
Yep.
So I've just adjusted my body per se, and during a weekday with a little bit of coffees, I'm able to get through. And don't get me wrong, there's some times where I've definitely gone too hard in the week and have a crash moment where I'm in bed
Yep.
by 6 p.m.
Yep.
But I all do it for the hustle and the able to give back to the community, and also educating our customers on the newer
Mhm.
technology that's coming to market.
Interesting.
So I'm very
Very,
passionate about this, and I
I
can
know.
spend hours talking about
Tell
it.
me, how many years did it take you from the time you woke up and said, Centigrade? That's a great name. I'm going to start a company and my family's going to be really proud of me and I'm going to help people in communities. How much from the day of that spark to the time when you launched your company? Years,
Uh,
months, days, weeks, hours?
Definitely days and weeks and months. So when I had my consulting business after American Express and Deloitte, it was called Black Diamond Business Solutions. Now it's way too long of a business name. So that was lesson learned of shorten my business name. But I tried to, with some of the consulting engineering firms, try to start a startup, tech startup with them. It didn't work out well. So I always had this infrastructure play in the back of my head with autonomous vehicles. And during that summer, it was like 2017, I just was up all night. Like I was reading so much, I couldn't even fall asleep. I was excited as this kept diving in. And then I came across a term called infrastructure to vehicle communication. So that's where I was mentioning the infrastructure is a key role at the time of the market and development. I mean, this research really started like 20, 30 years ago. It's just now getting into the hands of cities and individuals and drivers. But V2X, vehicle to everything, was really the more acronym being used and sought after. So that was like communicating from vehicles to vehicles. So now more vehicles are connected. They can get data like a pothole and warn an oncoming driver that there's a pothole in this location, move lanes so you can avoid the pothole to avoid damage to your vehicle. And so I really focused on where there wasn't a big gap. I went around to different traffic engineers in Arizona and asked them about the technology, what their thoughts were, and really validated the technology before even putting a name behind it. Once I kind of got that validation, I said, all right, no four-word business. Let's get it down to one single word, maybe even shorter. So SensorGreat came from the word sensor integration because we knew we wanted to take
Oh,
visual sensors and integrate it into IoT, AI, and data and analytics. So SensorGreat stands for sensor integration.
and you could have spelled it Great, couldn't you?
Yes.
Since great, you could have. Very interesting. When I hear the word great, the way you spell it, Grat, I think of a grate on a road, picking up, having edge computing, having IoT sensors, having knowing where the cars are, where's the traffic going. One thing you said, we're going to go to the music choices in a second, but one thing you said really got to. I have three things to say. Number one, the fact that you went out and talked to people in the street, the people who were working on the roads, and you said to them, I want to validate my data. That was very interesting. So you didn't just make it data, you made it real people coming to you. And
I wanted to make sure we had buyers, right? So I
yep,
think a lot of people shoot from the hip in starting a company.
yep.
I would always recommend or advise people if you're going to start a business, make sure you have a customer that's willing to pay. And
Oh,
if you can hustle well, really well, get them to pay before you even have the product ready, because
mm,
that shows like there's a need, there's a product market fit, and to really scale your solution, you need that product market fit. I think a lot of people create an idea, then try to go out and hustle it and see who's willing to buy. And then you're spinning wheels, you're pivoting. We've
and you're
pivoted to a
broke.
degree,
Yeah,
but we still have our core milestone, which is infrastructure vehicle communication. And we're seeing more of those opportunities come to market.
thank you. 2 points. Were you and I introduced by Don DeLoach? Was that the
Yes.
connection?
Yeah.
Don DeLoach is the founder, the managing director of Rocket Wagon Venture Studios, and he's been a guest on my Technology Revolution show for many, many years. And I went to Don a couple months ago, and I said I want to talk about the future of construction and AI. And he brought me you, and he brought me Tim Walter, who was my cool dude last week, a couple of days ago. And Tim's wife, Chelsea, is coming on in 2 weeks. She's
Cool.
going to be a saucy dame with me. It's two TOO saucy dames. And so I wanted to do a shout out to Don and appreciate the introduction. And the other thing was, you did something very unusual. We were scheduled to do the show last week, and you contacted me the day before and you said, my customer is having a problem. I have to fly to another location to work on that. I don't want to leave you hanging, Bonnie D. I can make it work if you still need me to do the show then, or could we delay? I was so overwhelmed by your offer to make it work while you were doing your job in your business, Darryl. So props to you, my friend. That really made an impression. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. I always want to make sure my word is my bond. And when I commit to something, I want to make sure it goes through. And if not, still find a way to make sure it gets done. But thanks
I
for
appreciate that very
recognizing
much.
that.
And I was more than happy to push the date out by a couple of days and ask you if it was okay to do it today. So thank you for that. That makes you an even cooler, cool dude. There you go. Cool dudes who keep their commitments and offer options and say, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I appreciate that. So let's go to music. I want a couple of favorite songs that make you happy or define you as a cool dude or were part of your life, you're growing up, anything. Give me some music that basically, I'm going to use this terrible thing, sings to you, Daryl. Go talk about it. Tell me. What are your songs?
Sure. The first one I'll mention is the song Successful by Drake featuring Trey Songz. So this song's about, doing whatever you can and with your possibilities to be successful. Not measuring it by any dollar revenue, but really like what do you measure as success? And that really just resonates with me as an entrepreneur. It's a very lonely road. Some people, especially your family members, will not understand or coming from corporate America and dropping out of that to do your own thing. A lot of people may not understand what that takes and the risk and the sacrifices. But that song really resonates from the sense of I'm doing what I want, but I want to be successful at it. Not measuring it for many dollars, but for me, the success comes from number of deployments and our customer satisfaction. If we can get repeat customers, we can start with one site and grow to multiple. That's success. But being able to have stories of, hey, we made this redesign change based on our data that leverage an engineering firm leverage to make the street safer. That's a level of success. To get data and information that customers haven't had their hands on before and getting that feedback is success. I'm actually getting chills talking about this, but I had a dream and it was just something on paper. My background is not in software engineer, computer science. I've never worked with
Mhm.
cameras and lidars outside of what's on my laptop for a camera before. So that success of learning everything from scratch and applying it, and even having some doubters and being able to go back and showcase like
Of
this is what
course.
we're doing today is
Of course.
successful to me because I don't have the traditional transportation traffic engineer background. I really
Hmm.
applied myself and studied and learned, but also reaching out to people and learning from them. So Centigrade's nothing without the people I've
Okay.
surrounded myself with over the last 6 to 7 years.
So successful means a lot. You give me a couple more songs. Any personal songs rather than business songs? What do you got?
I mean, there's that one's still personal because I think it still
Okay.
resonates on a personal level. But
Of course.
there's a song by Kanye West that's "Can't Tell Me Nothing."
Okay.
His way of expressing it is the Kanye West we know today, where he just goes out and blabbs about a lot of things. However, I really look at that song of like people are going to say that you can't do something, that you shouldn't do something. And this song resonates with me of like, you're going to have the naysayers, you're going to have the cancer, you're going to have challenges that you're going to challenge yourself of like, can I really do this? How do we move forward? This song really says like, even if you have doubts or concerns of others, you need to move forward and nothing should stop you from doing what you dream of, what your passions are.
Okay. And give me another song.
So last one is Glowed Up by K Tronda. He's like an EMC artist. So it's one of the first, like one of those few songs where he actually has the lyrics in it. But it just talks about, just being number one, like being on top, self-motivating yourself. So I think when you're in business or you're an entrepreneur or you're working, like you have to have that self-confidence. You don't want to have like that ego where you just think you're better than people, but you need to have that confidence that you can do what you say you're going to do and dream big and aim for it. The sky's the limit. So glowed up, this kind of puts, that glow on you that you are able to do what you say you're able to. And, reflecting back on kind of my story from being youth to now, in the last 7 years since a great, like it was that I had a vision and a dream and I stuck it out even during some of the toughest times.
Okay. What were some of your favorite music choices when you were a teenager before all this started? Do you have some cool music you want to share
I
with us? I want to
mean,
go back.
I listen to anything from like Biggie, Tupac, Nelly in high school, DMX, may he rest in peace. Outkast, they're a group. Like I don't really do concerts anymore, but if Outkast did a concert, I would be there in a heartbeat. I'm actually going to LA next week for a conference, but my friend hit me up and it kind of just put it out where he got tickets to Wu-Tang. It's their last like tour, so they're a big rap group. Sometimes controversial to some people, but They have a show that we're going to go see in LA at the new Clippers Arena. So excited to kind of see that new arena, but also see them. I've never seen them in concert.
Mhm.
I did listen to a lot of R&B growing up. So from Boyz II Men
Mhm.
to who else is there? I'm trying to think. Brian McKnight,
Mhm.
um, Tyrese, you kind of name it from a hip hop, rap, R&B, especially the 90s, early
Yep.
2000s. That's what you'll catch on my playlist. I'm not
Right.
really jamming on anything new except like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar are pretty good artists that I like to listen to nowadays.
Thank you. I'll give you some of my songs. You probably don't even, you've never heard of most of them. Do you remember Donna Summer, the disco queen from way
Hmm.
back? Well, I was a disco dancer. I did a lot of exhibition dancing with my partner, Michael, and we taught as well. We taught line dances and disco and Latin dance and ballroom. And over the years, I've come to understand that Donna Summer, it's Summer singular, Summer apostrophe S, her discography is the story of my life. She works hard for the money. Hot stuff, although I disclaimer, I've never been a streetwalker in LA. On the radio, somehow, as a shy kid growing up, I found myself on live radio, live streaming for past 20 years, mostly for corporations. No More Tears, Enough is Enough is Enough is Enough. I think that was a duet. I think it was with Streisand. I have to remind myself. Enough is enough. I've had my share of tears, and enough is enough. Last Dance. Well, I don't dance publicly anymore, but I love to dance in the kitchen. I Feel Love with that wonderful machine sound of Giorgio Moroder, that disco beat in the background, da 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 da, coming, and then Heaven Knows, which is part of the MacArthur Park Suite. And I entered with my partner years ago a disco Hawaii contest. I was living in Eugene, Oregon, if you can believe that, and we came in third. We didn't know that the person who won owned her own dance studio, and obviously it was a pro-am, not just a amateur contest. And we found out
It's
after.
almost cheating.
It was. It kind of was. We made our own costumes, and I was a programmer analyst at a community college writing code for statewide information systems. And we borrowed a classroom on Friday nights after he was done with work. He'd come and meet me at the college, and we practiced our routine. And it was right out of Saturday Night Fever. I was about 97 pounds, and he lifted me up. Darryl came in from opposite side, da 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 da, lifted me up, full spin over the head, dropped me 6 inches above the floor, a death drop, spun me around, and then set me on my feet. And we did our routine. And
Oh, wow.
oh, it was heavenly. I don't think I have video anymore of that, but I have some pictures back in the day.
Um,
Okay, so
when I
those are some my, go ahead.
Real quick, when I think of amateur, I think of like the Olympics with the breakdancing, the one from Australia. That was like very amateur, but she was competing with a bunch of professionals. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, we knew our stuff, but we certainly didn't own a dance studio. Michael was a former Arthur Murray teacher, so he had taught. He was paid to
okay.
teach people ballroom dancing, and we met and we started doing a disco hustle, and then we had line dance classes, and we taught cha-cha, and we taught a couple of other Lindy, East Coast swing, not West Coast swing, East Coast swing, and a couple of others. I also collected from 1978, which is way before your time, but some of the favorite songs of that era were my songs. I grew up with these Shadow Dancing by Andy Gibb, who was part of the Brothers Gibb. Night Fever, he was part of the Bee Gees. Night Fever by the Bee Gees. You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone, Pat Boone's daughter. Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And I'll give you one or two more. Boogie Oogie Oogie by A Taste of Honey. Three Times a Lady by the Commodores. That was Lionel Richie and the Commodores. Grease by Frankie Valli. You're the One That I Want from Grease. John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, past tense. Lay Down Sally from Eric Clapton. Miss You. Da 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 dum da da da. I play that on the drums. The Rolling Stones. That's from that era. Hot Child in the City. Nick Glider. Disco Inferno by the Tramps. Oh, I love to dance to that song. Shame. Evelyn Champagne King. I had a fever of 101, and Michael and I had committed to do some dances for a group of teachers at the college. And I showed up. I didn't think I was contagious, and we danced. And our lead song was Shame by Evelyn Champagne King. And the next day, My fever was gone.
Oh, wow.
So I just worked my way through it, but we danced on a carpet to Shame by, yes. And let's see, Copacabana by Barry Manilow, wonderful song. Native New Yorker by Odyssey. Oh, that's a dreamy song. And Deacon Blues by Steely Dan. Those were some of my songs from that era. I just happened to look up the top 100 from 1978. These were part of my top 25. So they're way before your time. There we go. So let's go to the part of the show called OTT off the top. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions and then you'll answer and then I'll answer too because it's a conversation. So, how do you start your day? Is it a drink? Is it a meal? Is it something special you make, something you buy? What powers you, Darryl?
So I typically wake up, make sure I get a glass of water in, just so I can refresh my body. And then I'll turn on the news and get kind of just understanding of current events. So I'll look at stocks, kind of understand where my investments are. And then after that, I'll also feed the dogs or walk them. My parents have two dogs I help take care of. And then I'll get to emails and work meetings. So I'm pretty, especially because I'm like a night owl and I'll stay up pretty late. My morning is like I get re-energized, get cleaned up, freshen up, and then start my day. And then I'll have a cup of coffee too.
After all that, you have a coffee or coffee before?
I have a coffee like once I start my day, just like so I'm sipping on it as I'm
Okay.
starting to work. So
Full
you'll see me.
caffeine, I assume. Full calf.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I
And
can't
I
I can't do
I
caffeine.
do cold brew now because it's just a lot
Oh,
quicker to consume than having to make it. And I'm all about efficiency and time. And I've just honestly enjoyed more cold brew than having to do the
cool.
brewing in the morning
Cool
and
cold
everything.
brew. Cool dude, cold brew. I have a banana milkshake, 1% milk in a personal blender, the kind you pulse on and off, not with the on-off switch. And banana, if I have ripe bananas, I buy about 8 bananas a week and hope that the green ones will be ripe by the time I run out of the ones from the previous week. A couple of spoonfuls of dark cocoa, unsweetened, a squirt of agave syrup, sometimes a couple of frozen sliced strawberries, and if I really want to cheat, a little bit of good vanilla ice cream. And I blend that a couple of times for maybe 3 minutes, and then I have a reusable straw, and I just take the lid off of this cup on the blender and bring it here into my office and start my day. So I get the banana with the potassium, and I get the strawberry with, I don't know if they have vitamin C, and I get the milk for calcium and a little bit of protein, and the cocoa is just fun. That's all. So, did you know there was a high-end cocoa quality shortage about 2 months ago that started? Were you aware of that?
Is that due to like droughts or I didn't
Climate
know.
change in the Ivory Coast, and my local supermarket stopped carrying Hershey's powdered cocoa. And
Hmm.
I asked them why, and they said, we're not carrying it anymore. And they had something called baking cocoa. So I went online and looked, and the price had gone from about 4.59 a box to $18 a box. It's high-end cocoa is very hard to find right now, even for candy. So I texted my daughter who lives 2 hours from here and I said, could you help me? So she went to her local Target and bought four of the last boxes on the shelf. I paid shipping from Amazon. It cost me over $18 for one little 8-ounce tin of Hershey's cocoa. And now I treasure it like gold. So
Well, it sounds like you need to plan a trip to Ivory Coast.
I might. That's the problem. And it wasn't like anything, it wasn't a tariff thing or anything like that. But the people at the supermarket wouldn't tell me why. And to this day, that shelf is completely chocolate syrup you can get because that's a lower grade. But anything high grade, and they still have candy bars on the shelf. So I don't understand that at all. But I've got my stash here. So anybody wants to buy some from me,
You may have to register as a distributor for companies out of Ivory Coast to
I
distribute
may. I just may in my spare time. Right.
Yeah.
So, second question. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting a phone call here. Hold on. Excuse me. Hello? Yep. Okay. Wait a minute. Steven Spielberg's on the line? Wait a minute. Quentin Tarantino? Scorsese? Clint Eastwood? Robert Zemeckis? Oh, Zemeckis. Sorry. Guy Ritchie? Wait a minute. Shonda Rhimes is there and Aaron Sorkin and Lorne Michaels? Seth MacFarlane? What's going on here? What do you want? I'm doing a live stream with Darryl K. You want to do his story? His life story? Really? One of you wants to make a movie and some of you want to make a TV show. All right, let me ask Darryl how he wants his story to be presented. So I'll have him pick a director. The rest of you don't feel insulted if he doesn't pick you. And I have to find out, does he want action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, or time travel? Those are the choices, right? And it could be a limited edition TV show. It could be a one-time TV special. No, we don't want a biopic. We want something, interesting. Okay, so Daryl's supposed to pick the director, the title, the actor to play him. Okay, all right, I'll talk to. Thank you. I'll get back to you. I have your number. Thank you. Bye. Okay, sorry for the interruption, Darryl. Okay, so we have been told that it's you are a fascinating person because you're one of my cool dudes, and this happens very often to my cool dudes, by the way. So I want you to feel very special. Not always, but most of the time. Okay, who's going to direct? Is it going to be a movie? Going to be a TV show about you? Is it going to be fantasy, romance, drama, comedy, action? What do you want? What's the title of the movie and who plays you? Let's start with all of those.
So you had a lot of directors. The one that's always my favorite is Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
But I almost want to lean on the guy who did the last versions of the Batman movie series. I can't think of his name. I want to say it's like Michael something.
Okay.
But yeah, between those two, and Steven Spielberg and the guy from Batman, I would do, you mentioned like time travel. I'm a big fan of the Back to the Future series, so I think that'd be something unique to do. Seeing myself in different eras of our world. And then who would play me?
Matt Reeves.
Uh,
Matt Reeves directed. Is that Matt Reeves the one you want? Directed the.
I think he was the most recent one. This is the one that had this is like 2008.
Okay,
Maybe
Tim
Michael
Burton.
Bay.
Tim Burton.
Was it Michael Bay then? Is that the
Joel
one I'm thinking of?
Schumacher. Oh, there's a lot of them. Joel Schumacher. Let me see. Batman and Robin. Adam West, Burt Ward. I'm looking down here. Let me see films. I don't have a total list of directors. So Joel Schumacher and Tim Burton
I
apparently are
think
the
it's
most.
Michael Bay, I think is his
Okay.
name. So we'll
I
go with
will
him.
I will find. Okay, go ahead. Keep talking.
And then who would play me? I think the one that sticks out the most to me is Idris Elba, the British guy. He's
Oh,
in
be
a lot of
still my
action.
heart. Hold on. Wait a minute now. I'm having palpitations. Okay. All right. Heartthrob. Go ahead.
And then what it would be about. Um,
Here
I
we
think
go. Take a look. Michael Bay.
yes, I think that's correct.
Okay,
If
good.
if not Batman, I would still choose him.
Okay.
And, what it would be about, I think, bringing technology and utilizing it in historical times. So, like bringing in inventions that people have never seen and using it to my advantage. So, like kind of like a superhero helping save people, but people are like surprised by how clever and innovative I'm able to do things without them understanding how it happened.
I'm still palpitating here with Idris Elba. That's good. Don't do that. He's been in. I've watched several of his movies and his TV shows. It's like, oh, I'm
That's why I
sorry.
said like that's why I said him because I know
Real heartthrob. Oh
he was
yeah,
he was like People Magazine like Guy of the Year one time I think.
I'd name him again. I would name him again. And who would be in? Who would star in this with you? You need a co-star, a woman, a man,
Um,
a child. I don't know, an animal. Who would co-star with you?
Co-star. So I would have my brothers involved. So Michael B. Jordan would be one. He and Sinners. He could probably because my brothers are twins, and he had like a
Right.
twin in Sinners. I haven't seen Sinners. I just know about it. So maybe I choose him, and then he can play the good and bad of my brothers as twins.
Okay. I like that a lot. And what do we come up with a title?
No. So.
Come on.
Um, I have one in my head. I'll probably skip that one. Um, I can tell you later what I was thinking of that one. But title wise, I would say the clever the
Dude.
the clever dude. Yes.
How about the sensitive dude?
No, no, it's too,
Too,
no,
that's too
yeah,
commercial.
sensitive,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All
The
right. All right.
clever dude or
The
something,
clever
yeah.
dude. I like that. Movie, full-length movie or you want a TV
I
serial?
think I would do like a mini movie series, like those kind of 45 minutes to an hour movies that they kind of separate
Nice.
out. So
Nice.
it's a little bit longer, gives you like cliffhangers, and then the end would give you a major cliffhanger, like wanting more.
Could I do the voiceover in the beginning?
100%. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll do my best sexy voice to and welcome to.
Well, we'll have Israel be right there next to you to give you like the
Oh
real
my
sense of
goodness.
it.
This is the
He may stutter a couple times.
this is the story of a very clever dude played by, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm not naming the cast, but the adventures will get your heart throbbing, get your blood pumping, and get your brain thinking, what have I done in my life? We want to know how clever is. How clever is clever does. I'll come up with, I used to do that on one of my radio shows. I was the weather girl. Don't even ask. You'll know where that was going. Okay. My movie would be one of the Donna Summer titles, like She Works Hard for the Money, and it would be a redhead, probably Reba McEntire. People say Bette Midler. No, Reba McEntire would be a musical, and it would be a limited edition TV show similar to her Happy's Place that she's doing now, and it would be somebody playing me, being in tech and dancing and writing poetry and art and drummer, and it would be multifaceted. So yeah, so that would be it. So that would be my story. Okay, moving on from that. So you got all excited with that. Vacation favorites. Where have you been? Top one, two, or three, and where do you still want to go?
Um, Brazil for World Cup was 2024, 2014 was pretty amazing. I spent 2 weeks in
Whoa,
Brazil.
whoa.
You had to like I had to force myself to leave. I went to like almost move there. That's when I had my consulting business, a little bit more flexibility. Second place was India. I went for a friend's wedding.
Oh,
Went around
nice.
4 different cities and didn't get sick from the food. So I
Okay.
think my eating habits to being able to survive India, because I've heard horror stories there.
Oh no.
And third, I would say I went to London, went for a football game, American football game, but I also met a family when I was in India the year before, so I went and visited them in Lincoln, UK. So that's pretty full circle moment, and still keep
Oh
in touch
yeah.
with their son. And then where I want to go, I would say Australia, New Zealand. Never been there. And then Spain would be another place I would want to visit pretty soon.
ANZ would be interesting. I remember from my SAP days, but was the region was ANZ. Very, very interesting. I toured Europe as an 18-year-old. I think it was just before my first year of college. My parents funded a trip. There were 8 young ladies and a woman who led us named Mary, and we went to Oh, did we go? We went to Paris, we went to London, we went to Madrid, we went to Venice, and we didn't do Rome, Venice and Copenhagen. I saw the Tivoli Gardens, and I lived in Neuchâtel, Switzerland with a French family and went to the university for 4 weeks and
Oh,
immersed
wow.
myself in the culture of Neuchâtel. And I took a train to extend my trip. I took a train to what's the capital of Switzerland? I'm blanking out here. Not Zurich. I don't know. In one of the main cities where there was an airline store there, and I had to go get my because I decided to stay an extra 2 weeks, and that was my tour, grand tour. And I've been back to Paris. I've been back to Paris with my daughter, but my goal is just to stay here and meet interesting people like you online. My travel plans are Zoom. Just Zoom me
Wow.
anywhere. And do you ever use a Quest headset? Have you tried those, the VR?
No, I haven't used those before.
I have one and I bought it about 3 years ago when they were fairly new, and it is so heavy and so hard to put on. And I have to fit my glasses into it. You have a special thing that allow you to fit your glasses in. But I did a lot of touring. I looked at the diamond sparkling of lakes in Lucerne, and I was on a triple-decker bus going through London, and I went to Asia, and I saw tourists, and I watched the butterflies in gardens all over the world. And that's a new way of traveling. I know it's not the same, but it certainly cheaper and faster,
Yeah.
and you don't have to worry about
Well,
eating the food.
and you won't get squirt by squirt guns now in many of the
No,
European cities if you've seen that
no,
recently.
no, I haven't, but I don't want to, and nobody's gonna take anything out of my pocket. So that's my travel ambitions. Well, thank you for that. I have to show you something funny. I think you'll appreciate that. I don't know if you know what this is, other than a dirty red thing. I discovered an old original iPad in my drawer the other day that I haven't used in years. It's the little one, and I actually started it up, and I have to put in all of that's one of my. I did a lot of floral photography years ago. That's one of mine, and I actually had to go in and put in all the passwords, and it thought it was 5 years ago, and I had to get everything reset and hooked to Wi-Fi, and all of my devices said, "You have a new device. Is this secure? Do you really want to do this? And what's your Apple password? And what's your Google pass?" And I spent an hour putting it on all of on the computer, on the other, on this one and that one, the phone. And finally, I think I want to take it to the hairdresser and be able to do my puzzles. Never mind. That's too much information. Anyway, I thought I would. Why was it sitting in the bottom of a drawer? I may as well use it. I never traded it in. So there. Do you have any old devices like that around?
I have a stack of iPhones I
Me
need
too.
to
Me
take
too.
in, and
Yeah.
there's like a ecosystem ATM I found, but
Yeah.
I did the price comparison. It's just a lot easier to take it to the Apple store and get credit.
Oh, okay. Only for the more recent ones, right?
I mean, I have stuff that are probably like 8 years old,
Woo.
and I found them going through similar to you, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, probably I need a new phone, so I was like, oh, let me get some credit and turn these in because they're just collecting dust at this point and taking up space.
Funny story. I worked for Nokia when they were in White Plains, New York, and I worked on the IntelliSync system. I didn't work on the phone side. I worked on marketing for this whole system IntelliSync suite that they had purchased. And I was doing marketing and I was doing some work on technical manuals and things like that. And one day, somebody showed up and said, "We have samples of the high-end Nokia phones. Take what you want." It was like a grab bag. Not the Virtue, the highest one, that was worth thousands of dollars. But I ended up taking home a bunch of phones that weren't connected. I think they're still here in a bag somewhere. They were just fun to look at. That's all. We'll just leave that one alone. Okay, it's time for wacky stories. And we call this segment of the show Say What? Can you say that, Daryl? Gotta say it just like
Say
me.
what?
Not bad. One more time.
Say what?
Not bad. Not bad. I like that. Very good. Okay. So you have sharing is available if you want to share. And why don't you want to do all three of yours together and then I'll do all three of mine? You want to switch back
Sure,
and forth? Yeah,
that
do
works.
yours. Okay, go ahead.
Let me see if I can.
Little green share button at the bottom of the screen. There you go.
Is it sharing my whole screen or is it sharing just
It
the?
looks, no, just your PowerPoint or whatever this
Okay,
is. Yep.
cool.
Yep. Go ahead. So what have we got?
All right, so I'll start with this one. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
All right, do I need to do full screen maybe?
No, it's
Oh,
good. It's good.
okay. So this story is based on I guess you can call them fraudsters, a group of individuals who fraud committed fraud on the Texas lottery. So they basically bought machines to print each ticket, and they printed over millions of tickets in over a course of a week and won the lottery. And the Texas lottery kind of went bankrupt from it and found out that they got frauded. So, organization or these guys have done this before, where they go and buy a bunch of machines, print tickets with all variables in a warehouse. So they get people together just to print tickets, so that they can hopefully win the winning lotto. And I think they won 90 million, and they
Oh,
invested between 20 or 50 million dollars to print off all these tickets. So they committed fraud, they got caught, and now I think the Texas Lottery is trying to figure out how to prevent this from happening
whoa.
again. But I thought it
Okay.
was crazy that anyone can just buy the machines,
Yes,
get license, and buy them and then print out tickets.
totally. What you got next?
So the next one is around like what's the applicable or the best nap time. So when you ask like how do I
I
get
feel like I'm
through
not supposed to be sitting in this guy's living room looking at him, Daryl.
these are actually all AI generated images
Yeah.
using
Really?
Google Slides. Google has a feature, I'll back up real quick. Here you can do generate an image. You could type in your prompt and it will generate images for you. So I didn't even go online and find any of these. I just used
Wow.
AI to create these and they actually came out
Wait a
pretty
minute.
well.
I want him to star in my movie with Reba McEntire. Yeah, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I could send you this image and you can re-leverage it.
Yeah.
It isn't, and his finger count is actually accurate. He has 5 fingers and a thumb, or
Yes, I
4 fingers and
see.
a thumb. So sometimes AI has like multiple,
The
but
hands are very good.
and
Yes.
even the shade here, like is it accurate where the shade of
The shadow is
the shadow,
good.
yeah, sorry, the shadow is really good. So
Yeah.
it's getting better. But what are the most appropriate nap times? So I'm a firm believer of power naps. You ask like, how do I get through if I'm not sleeping?
Mm-hmm.
After a long day, I will take like a power nap after like between 5 and 8, and then get back on it. But they say if you sleep too long, like over an hour, you're going to be really droggy and draggy from the sense of like you just overslept. You're almost into your REM state. So I've, really came across power naps as being a lifesaver for me. I hear good and bad news about it, where some people say you shouldn't, some people say you don't, but I always feel like there's always a pro and con in people's trials and studies of what should be done. But I believe the article said like no longer than 30 minutes should be good for power napping.
Okay. Thank you. What's your next one?
Um,
I still like this guy. Sorry.
And then this one was like why green and yellow lights. What I really learned about this was about this light and how long light takes to receive to your eye. So like if you're approaching an intersection, you're at high speeds, a red light will be able to see further than a red or yellow green light. So I thought that was really interesting that they used to have white, and then also part of this was with trains, where they used to give like full steam ahead with like a white light, but they added in green to really say to go. So if you think about the game red light, green light game, like when people turn around when you're growing up, this is kind of part of it. But I thought it really didn't necessarily matter on like what we know today. It's more of like how far light travels on the wavelength of light. So even thinking about people are colorblind, red's a little bit more
Sure.
easier to see than if it was like a purple or blue.
Very cool. Thank you. Those were great. Those were great. Give me back sense of great. Sorry. Give me
Oh,
back the
sorry, I'll
sharing.
stop
That's
sharing.
okay. Yeah, let me fix the screen here because when we do this, Zoom makes us stacks us. And there we are, side by side. Very interesting. Thank you. Those were good. Let me do my own sharing here. I have some interesting ones for you. So let me raise the screen here. Let's go to share. Let's go to screen. Let's go to desktop. And let's try this one. Okay, so can you see this? Yes?
Yep.
All right, this is a 1,000-year-old gold bracelet fragment found on a British isle dating back to the Vikings. Can you believe this, Darryl? On the Isle of Man, isn't that an interesting name? A metal detectorist, I didn't know people were called that, discovered a squished fragment of an 11th century Viking treasure, a piece of an intricately woven gold bracelet. His name was Ronald Klukas. He said, I couldn't believe it. There's this organization called the Manx, MANX, National Heritage protects the natural and cultural history of the Isle. Gold, listen to this, gold generally gives a low signal on the detector, so you can't predict when it's going to be discovered or uncovered. He's been doing this for years and he can't believe that he found this. It's eight, let me leave the picture up, eight braided strands of gold rod made by a highly skilled goldsmith using a specialized technique. The found fragment weighs nearly, I'm going to move on, 1 ounce. It was found bent in half. If extended, it would be 3 inches long, only part of its original circumference from the Viking Age. Is that beautiful?
That's amazing. And
Is that?
how, I mean, I'm sure they cleaned it up and polished it, but
Oh,
it looks like it's in great condition, like it was made yesterday.
isn't that gorgeous? Archaeologists believe it was made by a skilled goldsmith. I thought that was really cool. And this is the man. He belongs to the Manx Detectorist Society. It's his latest find. In 2005, he unearthed 2 ingots of silver and lead, pieces that the Vikings used for currency. This is his 50th year doing this, and they say it's interesting that gold is the gold anniversary 50th, and he found gold. So I thought that was cool. Here's another one from the animal kingdom. Humpback whales blow bubble rings at humans, and they think they're trying. That is a real bubble ring from a real whale. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, and I watch a lot of animal documentaries and I didn't know this was a thing. So it's cool to
Okay,
learn.
humpback whales may display nonverbal cues to indicate a sense of friendliness. Large bubble rings. Researchers analyzed 39 rings created by 11 whales during a dozen encounters with humans. They suggest the bubbles could be an attempt to playfully interact, observe our response, and or engage in some form of communication. They said humpback whales use bubbles for hunting and for courtship. Oh, maybe it was proposing to somebody here on the sidelines. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
There you go. And I have one more. We call the last letter of the alphabet Z, but the British and others call it Z. And this is a favorite columnist of mine. His name is Bennett Kleinman, and he writes for Optimism. I get the Optimism newsletter. Americans measure with feet and yards, Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, blah, blah, blah. The letter Z comes from the Greek letter zeta, Z-E-T-A or zeta. The Romans borrowed that letter from the Greeks when they were creating the Latin alphabet. Go figure that one out, which inspired the modern English alphabet. Z was adopted as a similar sounding pronunciation to the original Zeta. Z and Zeta, Z-E-T-A, Z-E-D. And it remained popular in most English speaking countries. We know that UK says it, New Zealand. When you go to ANZ, you'll hear that, Ireland and more. Noah Webster wanted to standardize the American English in the 19th century. So he used the official pronunciation of Z, separate from the one by the British. In 1835, music publisher Charles Bradley, Lee, copyrighted a song, The ABC, a German air with variations for the flute with an easy accompaniment for the pianoforte. We know it is the alphabet song. He included Z-E-E pronunciation, which rhyme with V and B and D. This song has been used to teach generations of American children the alphabet. So other countries have used Z for Z, blah, when they sing the song, and that's the way they go. So those were my yeah. So what'd you think? You learned something?
Yeah, definitely the well and the Z was pretty interesting. I would have never guessed the Z,
I'm
the Z.
very, very glad. So now, question for you. Young dude comes up, young man, could be the child of somebody you know. It could be somebody when you do your STEM mentoring or tutoring. It could be somebody and they say, Darryl K, I saw you on Bonnie D's show. You're a real cool dude. You're smart. You're motivated. You're passionate about what you do. You're creative. You're intelligent. You're nonstop. You're committed. You've got integrity. I hope I'm not overwhelming you, Darryl. I'm writing this as I speak. How would I go about becoming a cool dude like you? So one day, Bonnie D, if she's still around, will invite me on her show. So what would you tell them? What advice would you give?
I follow your dreams and your passions. Like, when you do work, if you work for a company, whatever it is, make sure you're passionate about it because passion drives, in my opinion, everything. And you won't even call it work or a job because it's something you love doing. It's almost like a hobby. So follow your passions.
Follow your passions. And how do you know if they're the right passions? Yours came up at one point in your life. You've done so many things. At one point, you said, this is what I want to do. This is the company I want to create. These are the people I want to help. This is how I want to do it. And it all came together. So, how do they know if it's the right passion?
I think you may have multiple passions in life,
Yes.
right? So, like, I can think about when you mentioned I wrestled in high school as a state placer. I was on the Colorado national team. That was my passion. My parents definitely wanted me to focus on school. I couldn't bring anything below a B, but school wasn't honestly my passion. My passion was I have to do good in school to play sports. In college, I was passionate about studying accounting and management information systems. I knew I wanted a job at a big firm, so I had to have a certain GPA. So school work wasn't always my passion, but to go work in that career. So all those are tied to goals, and your goals will be aligned to your passion. And it's okay that as you get older, you mature, you have different interests, your passions are going to change. Just keep driving towards them, and always circle yourself with people that inspire you or that could be your mentors. You're only as good as the five people in the top five people in your network. So make sure you get people that are doing what you want to be and where you want to be to surround yourself so you can learn from them and grow with them too.
That's great. And you know, I'll add one thing. What I tell people if I have a chance to talk to somebody young, and I mentored a couple people when I worked at SAP or coached, mentored a little bit, I say to them, if you see a little light coming through the window or a crack in the door, open the door. Kick open the door, open the window, open the blinds, see what's on the other side. There might be an opportunity to do something else. You don't have to be the same person and work for the same company for 50 or 100 years like people used to do in the old days. You can change. I'm on my, I don't know how many careers you've had, Darryl, but I think there's a couple. I'm on, I think, my seventh or ninth career. And these are things that just along the way I said, you know, that would be interesting. I want to do that. It was that simple. I don't have a degree in communications. I have 3 degrees. You would never guess. I have a degree in psychology, which helps me with a lot of my guests. I have 2 degrees in computer operations and computer programming.
Mm.
Okay. So I didn't have anything that told me how and I also took stand-up comedy training and improv training, and that also helps. So sometimes you get your training, you get your chops from things that happen to you that you allow to do, that you allow yourself to do along the way, and then it all comes together. And there you are.
100%.
Yeah, thank you. So, Darryl, I'm going to put the music on. It has been a pleasure and a privilege to welcome you. You are a fascinating young man. I can call you that. And and I wish you well. And I know that you and Tim and I hope Don are coming back in a couple weeks on my Technology Revolution show. What we did a few weeks ago was each of you brought me images of 3 sites, building sites, Dubai Museum, airports, football stadiums, baseball stadiums, places around the world that we were talking about the future of construction and AI or other technologies. And I call it the future of construction AI, the world tour. And I'm hoping we can do, and you're going to find me another panelist for that show. The world tour continues part 2. So I'm looking forward to that. That was very, very powerful. Did you see that I did Opus clips on that show? I posted a whole bunch of clips, and that was the first time I've used Opus clips like that. So anyway, let me put the music on. Let's go out with a buzz here. Bang, I
And
don't
thank
know
you,
what
Bonnie,
this.
for having me. This was a great experience.
Oh,
And
my pleasure. My pleasure. We'll talk. Let's just finish out. Can you hear it?
yep.
So you wanna be
Thank you to our viewers, our listeners, live and on demand. He's a cool dude. Here, Darryl, I gotta pull the right direction. No, I'm not pointing. Darryl. Cool. Casting your net.
So
You wanna be. Here comes the drum roll. Bop. Thank you to Serge Hoffman, who wrote the music and sings my lyrics. And Darryl, it's been a joy. And anybody you want to do a shout out to? Brothers, sisters, anybody? Family?
No, this thanks to my team and my customers and my family for all their support. And